Hey guys, this is Oracle Daphne. My name is Beth, and I'm back today to channel some messages for you guys. Happy 2019, Happy New Year to everyone who's watching this, and hopefully your New Year's going so far so good. And I am hoping that with this video to attract people to my channel who are just really looking for some guidance, who are open to receiving messages. It may be applicable to you in January. I am recording in January of 2019, but also may be applicable to you later down the line in time. Psychics channel messages, and you know, the universe has divine timing. Like, we put all these parameters on messages and psychics, and so I would say just be open to what the messages that are going to come through. If you're watching this, then there's probably something in it for you. I can't guarantee that there is, but hopefully I will touch on some things that will resonate with you. If not, you might want to try revisiting this video later in time, or contacting me for a private reading if you wish. I am still doing private readings. My website's oracledaphne.com. The link is going to be below, but it's pretty simple website. It's easy to get scheduled with me, and yeah, I'd love to read for you. So I'm using a variety of decks. I originally wanted to start the new year with the video that using like a new deck, but I am using a couple of decks that I feel like are going to resonate with you guys. So and for those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. I take a lot of artistic creative license with my decks. I write on the cards. I don't always show them because there's just a lot of writing on them. So let's see what comes up first. Some of you, there is this thing of releasing, and I talked about in my other video myself. December was a time of serious letting go, and some of you do need to let go. There's a lot of different ways of letting go. Some of you, it's to a relationship. I guess my challenge is for you, those of you who are watching this video, what is it that you're holding on to the most? That's my challenge. You know, message me in the comments and let me know if you feel comfortable sharing. What is it that you're hanging on to? I realized for myself personally that I was in a relationship, or had a relationship. I wasn't in a relationship, but I had a relationship to someone who I felt like I was hanging on to the most. And that was the relationship that needed to go the most, actually. So this is where my challenge to you is to figure out what is it that you're hanging on to the most, the thing that you're clinging to the most, and that may be the thing that you need to let go of. Now, I'm not saying, like, we all have comforts and things that we cling to for our own sense of security, and that's normal. And I'm not saying you have to let go of all of your stuff and, like, you know, live, you know, without anything. No, I guess I'm challenging you because there's this energy of letting go of the old. We are in 2019. To me, it's about clearing house. Some of you need to clean your house specifically. We're talking scrubbing the floors, wiping the countertops, clearing out your fridge, vacuuming. Some of you, it's more relationships or more somebody in your life that you really need to let go of and move on from it. There was a video I saw. I was just looking on YouTube for, I don't know, there was a video that I was looking for, and I came across this other video, and I don't remember the name of it. I don't even know what channel it is, but I think the video was about waiting for a guy to come back. And I think there was like 20,000 or more views. And that says a lot about, you know, what's going on with relationships at this time. There's a lot of waiting, there's a lot of clinging on, there's a lot of like holding on to something that's not good, even if we need to move on from it. And I'm not sure why that is. You know, message me in the comments and let me know. Like, if you're waiting for someone to come back into your life, why are you waiting for them? What makes it so that you're so empty at this point that you miss them so much? Or what makes it so hard to move on from them? Or what is it that you miss about them? Or what could you tell them if you had the chance if you saw them again? What would you tell them? What would you do differently? You know, I definitely think that this to me is there's patterns of breaking up and getting back together. Sometimes it's cycles. There is something also about, getting divorced or separating from a partner and then having another partner to me, it's like something about the love triangle where maybe there's another person involved and there's like someone maybe that's waiting for you or you're waiting for them, maybe to be out of a relationship and you're hoping to get into a new relationship. There's something about that there. Will it lead to a new relationship? For some of you, it could. I typically think that and I'm sorry about the trucks here. They're cleaning. There's a lot of snow today. It's a big snowstorm here in Omaha, Nebraska today. There's something about the relationship that comes from cheating or the relationship that comes from a third party. Usually those relationships don't end well. Usually those relationships were karmic to begin with and there's problems and it'll be riddled with problems if you should get into that. Now, some people, there's going to be obviously, exceptions to that rule. And, it's going to be depending, obviously if two people come together and they really loved each other and maybe their relationship wasn't good when they came together and they just ended up finishing out that relationship and then got together, that's different than if someone is actively in a partnership and then they leave that partnership for another person. I think that that's different. There's obviously shades of gray, Let me know what's going on in your situation. What shade of gray are you in? Are you in the camp that's like, you're divorcing someone and you want to be with someone else? Maybe your divorce isn't finalized, or are you in the camp of you're hoping that you're gonna get to be with someone and they're not yet out of that relationship, or there's a third one. Maybe you just got out of a relationship and maybe you had to say goodbye to someone. Maybe you had broke it off with the person that maybe you wanted to be with, and maybe there's that element of your relationship ending and maybe wanting to be with that other person. Message me if that's you, too. There's that third one. Let's look at the other energies here. There's others. There is this element of frustration. And I've had to record this video several times because of all the trucks outside with the snow. But there's just feeling like a lot of people overburdened by their responsibilities, overburdened by stuff that's going on, not having enough time to get things done that they need to, not feeling like they're getting enough rest. Some of you have had to make a lot of hard choices in life. Hard choices, big decisions, feeling like, like for me, a hard choice, like I have to replace my tires on my car. And I found out, I was basically driving on with two tires that had blown the bands on the two rear tires. And I was like, this came about like unexpectedly, and boom, it's $226. And I'm like, okay, that's unexpected. Thank you very much to the universe for that. But essentially I have to do all four, so I still have another 200 to go. But the whole thing is that it's like, okay, the hard choice was, do I skip all this entirely? Do I do 2? Do I do 4? These are hard choices, Sometimes the hard choice is, am I going to stay living with a certain person, or am I going to stay in this job, or am I going to stay in doing what I'm doing? And it's just like, it's having to make, big decisions. Sometimes it's financial decisions too. Sometimes it's, expenses, that again come out of the blue. And sometimes it's old stuff that has like hounded you, like collection agencies, old like financial stuff from divorces. This could be just stuff that's kind of hounding you and causing you stress. I do feel like more so it's like having to make a hard choice because of you have to kind of cut your losses. I guess that's the message. It's weird. I feel like there's someone who's watching that needs to cut their losses in some way. So it's like, okay, cutting your losses means sometimes doing something that might be more expensive than what you're planning on, but in the end, it's going to be okay. it's going to cost you something. One way or the other, whatever you're dealing with, some of you, it's going to cost you something. For me, it was my tires. It was going to cost me something no matter what. But instead of me driving on the old tires, which could have blown and could have been a serious disaster, I cut my losses and was like, okay, I'm just going to replace these tires, even though it's expensive. And even though I'm not really prepared for this, I'm doing it anyways, and trusting that everything's going to work out. So it's sort of like that. It's hard for me to explain it, but some of you, it's like cutting your losses, like something that's already damaged you. Some of you, it may be a legal thing. Some of you, it could be something where it's like, relationship that's gotten really messy, and it's time to cut your losses in the sense that it's already cost you something emotionally or financially, or it's just like something that's not good for you, and you have to say, okay, I'm gonna stop this, and it's funny because I'm saying the word stop, and I said the word stop in my other video too. So there's something about boundaries here that's coming up very strongly, and maybe 2019 there will be more focus on boundaries, and I'm getting a tingle on this, focusing on what is it that, where is your point of no return? Like, what's your breaking point? Have you reached that point? Message me in the comments. Let me know. Have you reached your breaking point yet with someone? Have you passed that point of no return? What's the red flag, or what's the point in which you say, okay, this isn't working anymore, or this isn't good for me anymore, and it could be a relationship, but it could be something else. Sometimes it's like, investing our time into something that has no return, too. So, and again, this could also be too, like someone could have bounced your paycheck, and you cut your losses and you say, you know what, I'm done. And it's hard to let go of a job that bounces your paycheck, but you kind of have to, because the consequence of staying would be they're going to bounce it again, that kind of thing. Some of you are starting over. You're starting like a new life, could be a new cycle. I definitely feel like the new energy of 2019 is great for that at this time. And I like to applaud you, for that. That's really great. I do feel like some of you are going to be making new money. Okay, so even if there's frustration, I feel like some of you are going to be making new money. Some of you may either be getting a second job or starting a new business, or there may be there's something about the number 2. So like a second opportunity may show up somewhere, some way down the line here. And not too much farther out. Like, I don't feel like in time when you're watching this, it's going to be too far along. You guys got the money card. It's I call it the cha-ching money card. And that card signifies a healthy flow, a healthy budget. Some of you need to work on balancing your budget. It's funny, I was just talking about car expenses. So maybe some of you are really working hard to figure out, okay, how are you going to pay for everything, and how's everything going to flow? I definitely feel like, though, I don't think you're going to have to worry too much. Because this card to me is like one of the best cards financially. I feel like it is a positive, healthy financial flow. So whatever goes out comes back in some way. I do feel like there's something about the number 8. And for those of you, this is going to sound really weird. For those of you who live in an apartment or house that adds up to an 8, okay, specifically. So like, say you live at 44, Maple Road, okay? You live in an 8 house, okay? And the 8 to me is a symbol of infinity. So there may be some of you that are in a job where you're making money, but you want to leave it for some reason. Some of you are, it's like you're in this infinity pattern, and it's weird that I'm saying this, but it's like you're in this infinity pattern where it's like you want to stop in some way. You want to stop the pattern, but you don't know how. It's like you've been doing the same thing for so long, and it's just like you don't know how to change. And you might not might just live in an 8 house, but like you might resonate with a number at 8, or you just might be in a pattern where you're not, you know, you have a hard time breaking patterns or habits. And those patterns or habits, you know, may be financially fulfilling in some way, but also maybe limiting you in some way. So it's like you may feel limited. Some of you, it's like you feel limited with how much you can make, or limited because of your own, it's to me, it's the self-imposed limitations. So the person that says, I can't do that because I'm doing this. The person that doesn't want to go off government support because, like, you know, it's because of their school schedule or something. You know, it's just like, I don't know. It just feels like there's some limitations. You may be limiting yourself in some way. And the element of infinity is like, there may be a pattern or a habit that you need to break. And you may have had a difficult time stopping. Some of you, it's like smoking habit or drinking habit or something that, like, you know, to me, it's like an addiction, kind of. It feels to me like a little bit like an addiction. Some of you, it's a bad habit with cheating. Like there's been like cheating patterns that have happened with you or somebody else. To me, that's coming up also. How are things going to go, like, a little bit later in time? I definitely feel like the element of luck, there's something about luck changing. So it's like your luck is kind of going to be on your side going forward. I do feel like there's some element of magic or an element of things being revealed, like kind of like a magical outcome that is going to be really positive for you. It's possible that there might be an unexpected financial support also. Maybe unexpectedly meeting somebody too. To me, it's also unexpected, like marriage proposal, or unexpected getting married. Like some of you may like meet someone and it's like you may fall really, really hard for that person. That person may, you know, I just feel like that person like has like a true bond with you, or like you're going to have a true bond with them in the sense that there's some kind of unconditional love there. Some of you do really want to know about the future, like your future, in the sense that you want to know how things are going to go long term. And this is going to be an interesting thing coming from me, because I just did that video about my transformation, my spiritual transformation. And I want to talk about some things that are kind of people aren't really thinking about. And it's my challenge to you, okay? Now, there's nothing wrong with contacting a psychic. If you want to contact me and we can do a reading, there's nothing wrong with that. But I guess my caution to you is, or not my caution, it's just my advice, maybe you could call it, is think about if your life was going to end in 5 years or 10 years, how would you want your life to go? Because for me, my life was going to end. At the time, you know, only 36 years old. That's a pretty short life compared to a lot of other people. So it's not the shortest, but it's a pretty short life. So it made me think about how our perspective about the future is like really, really like far out. Like in somewhere we're stuck in the ego thinking we're going to live to be like 90 or like 95 or 100 even. And we have all this time to find all this. And we want to know how our life is going to go because we have these grand ideas about how it's great it's going to be. And the thing is it might be great. And I'm not saying that we won't have times of greatness. But I guess what I'm saying is like the way things are going to go is according to basically how long you're going to live and what your soul needs and what your soul essentially is. Do you feel, I guess my challenge to you is, do you feel like your soul is being nurtured, is getting what it needs, is in a place of happiness, in a place of love, in a place of like harmony or flow, or is it in a place of frustration and stress and strife and struggle? You know, is your soul feeling unsatisfied and depressed and anxious and, you know, a little bit cray cray, or just like feeling like you're never going to get there, you know, where is your soul at? I mean, there's like obviously, you know, different shades in that also. It's not like you're always going to be happy, your soul's always going to be happy, and your soul's always going to be depressed. It's not one or the other, but I definitely feel like you need to figure out, okay, like if your soul was only going to be, if your soul is really satisfied, you wouldn't necessarily care so much about the future. You would just be in a state of flow. So you're watching this video because there's some element where your soul is unsatisfied. You want more. You want to know. The reason you want to know is because you're unsatisfied. So I guess my question or my challenge to you is think about what you want your life to, what you want to have happen in your life for the next 5 years, and go with that. And regardless of what any psychic tells you, your soul gets to choose whether it lives that plan or not. Now, there's astrological factors and a lot of obstacles and a lot of things to deal with aside from what our soul wants. But I guess people that really want to know the future, a lot of times their soul is unsatisfied. And they want to know, is everything going to be all right? You know, are they going to get married? Are they going to find love? These are main questions that like people that want to know about the future, like these are the things that are important to you. And to everyone, really. I feel like everyone has this need, like on a soul level, to feel loved, to feel deserving of love, to feel wanted, to feel like, you know, that there's a person out there that's going to love them, you know, that, yeah, I mean, that they're going to overcome their financial stuff. I mean, that's why people watch YouTube, you know, that's why they watch or they talk to psychics. So I definitely want to say, like, there's an element of passion. So the element of magic is very strong. Element of passion is also very strong at this time for you. Expressing yourself, expressing your passion doesn't necessarily mean sex, but it could. You could end up hooking up with someone unexpectedly if you're single and you're looking to hook up with someone. The big questions, like the big questions that you're asking, are you going to find love? Are you going to get married? You know, I feel like for a lot of you, the answer is yes. But I do feel like the issue for a lot of you is even if you did get married, your soul is unsatisfied. So you need to focus on what your soul wants first and kind of get right with yourself. They say you need to love yourself first. So you need to get right. Your soul needs to make it right with itself. Sometimes some of you inner child too, like your inner child needs to feel like you're spending enough time with yourself. You're spending enough time alone. You're spending enough time thinking about what you want to do and how you want to live. The big question, too, is, you know, for some of you, it's a financial one. It's the question of, are you going to overcome your financial challenges? The answer for you is also yes. Some of you, there's financial prosperity through marriage. And some of you, it's financial prosperity through your own hard work and efforts. And or business endeavors or investments or things that are kind of going to come to fruition later in time. Some of you, it is inheritances. It's hard for people that are watching YouTube, I know, to hear about inheritances because it's just sort of like, it doesn't really happen to a lot of people, but it is showing up here. So I did want to mention it. It's hard for me, like at this point in my development, to tell people that they're going to get into a relationship if they are very disjointed with themselves and they're not in the right self place. If they're kind of in that codependent space, if they're needy for a relationship, because it's not going to work. Even if you did find somebody, it's not going to work if you're not in that right space. So please, even though I'm saying this, know that you have to get right with yourself first. It's really important. It's the most important thing. the beginning of a new relationship is very, to me, it's like it's coming up here. So those of you who are watching are either going to be beginning a relationship, or it's like coming. It's like it's right there. For some of you. Some of you, it's been a long time too. Like some of you, it's been a long time since you had a relationship. Some of you are older souls. Like you're just the kind of person that like you're kind of over a relationship. You're just not feeling it. You haven't felt it. And the thing is I feel like the 2019 energy is going to be really good for you in this regard, and it's going to kind of bring you more of a I feel like a stable relationship. That's what I want to say. Some of you are also going to be getting pregnant too. Like there's an element of pregnancy here for those of you who, want to get pregnant. I feel like there's a pregnancy thing, or some of you do want to get pregnant, and some of you need to work on your happiness, work on your joy, work on your being happy. I definitely feel like there's someone who's very anxious. Like I feel like they have anxiety, or they have a difficult time focusing. And I feel like some of you, it's just like you're staying up way too late at night. You're drinking a lot of coffee. You're just really wound up. For those of you who, and you need to drink more water. Like some of you, it's like the water thing. Some of you, it's your blood sugar. You need to work on your blood sugar and your sweet. Like I feel like there's a sweet. Some of you, it's sweet tooth. For those of you who date girls and you're a girl, I definitely feel like there's some element of like wanting to date a female. There may be also someone who's watching that, and to follow that track, just those of you who are female and wanting to date a female, I feel like there is a potential relationship there. Other females who date females, I feel like what I'm seeing is like some of you maybe not be over an ex. I feel like some of you are going to be getting into a relationship in the springtime too. Some of you, it's a timing thing. So I'm talking, this is general reading. So some of you, like you're wanting a relationship and you're not in that space yet. Too. Yeah, to me there's something about this for this springtime. And let me see if there's any other energies here that I feel like I need to address. It's so interesting. I feel like some of you are going to go on a really fun date. Message me in the comments if you got a really fun date, or if you get asked out on a date. I feel like some of you, you're dating. Like I feel like you're dating or you're going to be dating someone, and it's going to lead to a relationship. And it is going to be a really, really positive one. Like really great chemistry, great sex, great partnership. To me, it's like a long-term healthy relationship. Okay, so I am reading from my Trees Oracle deck too. The last couple cards, I wanted to see what the Trees Oracle deck had to say. And okay, so we got the Coastal Redwood. Coastal Redwood. It says from the book here, have the courage to be the person you know yourself to be. Do not be afraid to excel because you are worried about showing how exceptional you really are. Do your very best in both trivial and important matters. And this is really interesting. Okay, so we got the yew tree also. Yew tree. It's a beautiful, to me it's very mystical, magical. It says this is a potent time of rebirth in which you can shed parts of your life that no longer serve you and develop new activities and attitudes. It is also a time of stillness and contemplation as you reconnect with your spiritual beliefs. So spiritual beliefs does not necessarily mean religious beliefs, okay? I just want to specify that really quickly here. But I definitely feel like some of you, it's like I started this video talking about letting go, releasing things in your life. Again, it's old attitudes, old beliefs, old ways of doing things. Let me see. And then the last one is the date palm, which I always see as dating. I see as dating just because it's called date palm, okay? It's so funny. Last one is grace. 16. And it says, it is time to show that you can remain graceful even in the face of pressure. Teach yourself how to bend with the winds of change and how to adapt to your current situation so that you continue to be flexible yet upright. So the funny thing is that in one of my other videos, I talked about, that I recorded, I talked about everyone needing to adapt. And I feel like there's someone watching that maybe was watching that video before, and it still is applicable. That energy is still there. People have a difficult time with change. I've talked about this in my other videos. So some of you, this is learning to be flexible, learning to go with the flow. Not everything's going to fit into a box. Some of you, I feel like, to me, this is like the opposite of of being flexible is someone who's wants to check a box. Wants to check the box that they're married because it satisfies their religious beliefs. Wants to check the box that they have, they're making a certain amount per year so that they look good to other people, or wants to check that box that says that they're in a relationship because it improves their status in society. And these are all things that there's nothing wrong with wanting to check boxes, but it's not for the right reasons. It's not for the going back to what I said about the ego in my other video, is that right now, we're all needing to work on the ego problems that we have. And the ego problem that some of you might have is identifying too much with some element of status, identifying too much with some element of money or what you're doing, who you are in the world. And also learning to be graceful in the sense that, some people, they don't really have any social graces. They are loud in public, or they don't know how to be in a crowd with other people. They don't really know how to be around people. It's the person that you see out at dinner and they're kind of a disaster. They're throwing stuff everywhere and they're really, really loud and, excuse me. I mean, this is not going to be applicable for everybody, but to me, it's there's some element of learning to be graceful and tactful. And I guess the important thing is to know your audience. Learn who are you addressing. Ask questions. Who are you talking to when you're talking to people? And the funny thing is right now, because everybody's on their cell phone, we're not connecting with each other. We're not really aware of how we're supposed to act in certain situations because we're on our cell phone. So our self-awareness is different than maybe it used to be where we didn't have that. So become aware of who you're talking to, the tone that you're using, and sort of, I guess, for some of you, I want to say, I guess it's adapting to your environment too. So if you're in an office, learn to be professional. If you're, if you're out in public, learn to be courteous and graceful and attuned to the needs of others just as much as the needs of yourself. Say please, say thank you. I feel a lot of the social interactions kind of have been lost. So to me, that's what it's talking about. If you go out on a date and you're really nervous, you may remember that I said this, but don't worry so much, you know, about your date and how you're going to be viewed to the other person. Just be yourself. I guess that's what I want to say. Be yourself. Try to be as polite as possible, but be yourself and you'll do fine. So that's what I want to say. I don't know why. For everybody else, to me, it's about flexibility. It is about adapting to your situation, whatever that situation is, and recognizing, okay, it's cold outside, it's snowing, and I need to put on a coat. You know, for some of you, it's doing the basics, you know, putting on a coat when you're going outside, taking, you know, some extra water with you to plan ahead. A lot of you need to adapt to that. I do feel like, and this is going to sound weird, I do feel like this is applicable to someone who lives in a warm climate. To me, because I'm thinking of the date palm, I think of Florida. I think of someplace south. So some of you who are watching, to me, this is applicable to you. But also the words global warming come up, and like, to me, this is adapting to the needs of our environment, of the planet. So be mindful of how much water you're drinking, how much waste you're using, or you know, it's just, to me, it feels like adapting to either a warmer climate. Some of you may need to live in a warm climate, or adapting to some changing elements, whether it's weather or whether it's, you know, where you're living. Some of you are living, though, in a place where you're not used to. So to me, you're just adapting to that environment, and you'll get used to it. You know, you'll adapt. I don't feel like that's going to be a big challenge for you. So I'm going to leave off there. Thank you guys so much for liking, sharing, subscribing, Google Plusing. I'll be back for more videos, so stay tuned. I wish you guys all the best. I send everyone big hugs, big kisses. And I will talk to you guys again soon. All right, take care. All the best. Bye.